Thanks so much for the intro, Anne. I want to thank our 4 panelists for joining me up here today. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts and what you have to say about the culinary tourism sector in our region. Before we get started, I just wanted to ask if each of you could introduce yourself and your business real quick. So we'll start with you, Cynthia.
My name is Cynthia Peters, and I'm the owner of Maison Maitland Cooking School and Villas. And I moved actually to this region just 2 years ago. And we are in the beautiful Augusta Township, just east of Brockville.
Thank you so much. Erin, you're next.
My name's Erin Kergen. I own Pickle and Myrrh, a caramel shop in Marrickville. We moved here from Alberta about 6 years ago, and we opened our shop 3 years ago in Marrickville, Wolford, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. Matthew, you're up next.
I'm Matthew Shapton. I'm one of the owners of Hall Orchards in Brockville. We've been in operation since 1947, so we're not exactly a new business. I've been there off and on for the last 20 years. We do ciders, pies, all different things with apples.
Awesome. Martha, you're good.
And I'm Martha Kudrinko. I'm a co-owner of Rosie Yumski's Fine Foods and Kudrinko's Grocery in Westport. Rosie's has been in operation for 16 years.
Lots of yummy things on the stage with us. Okay, so let's start off with our 2 newer businesses. So we'll talk with Erin and Cynthia first. Erin, could you speak a bit to why you chose Leeds Grenville as the place to locate your business?
Sure. I actually grew up in Brockville, and then after university moved out to Banff, Alberta, and I spent 13 years there, and where I met my husband and started our family. And so when we were looking to relocate back to Ontario, I was, always telling him about how beautiful Leeds Grenville is. Growing up, whenever I would tell anybody where I was from, when I'd say Brockville, they go, "Oh my gosh, I know Brockville. That's like Pleasantville. It's so beautiful." And out west, we just don't have the same history that I think these small towns in Ontario have. So when we were looking in the Perth area and in Rideau Ferry and in Marrickville, and we decided on Marrickville specifically because it was like living in a postcard. So I thought, this is such an easy, idyllic location to package and sell as being able to live in a real life Hallmark movie, to be able to fulfill your Gilmore Girls moment, to come and stroll around these beautiful cobblestone alleyways and these heritage businesses. Like the business, the location that I'm in, it's from 1860, and it has the real authentic tin ceilings and tin walls, and it's so ornate and beautiful, and that's what everyone comments when they come in, is they just say, "Wow, this is so beautiful." And I think we often take for granted that we all live in a postcard, I think, living in Leeds Grenville, and it's an easy sell to get people to travel, especially, to places like Marrickville, to have their little Hallmark moment.
So sweet. Yeah. Hey, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Cynthia, from an experiential side of things, I'd love to hear your perspective on why you chose Maitland as your home.
Well, I actually had my cooking school in Prince Edward County, and I had started that in 2010. And we were looking to relocate because I wanted to expand and have accommodation as part of the experience for people. And so we started looking, and I really wanted to be in the same corridor as where I was in Prince Edward County. And so it was important from a demographic perspective, especially for tourism, that I could retain and expand my already demographics that I was going after when I was in Prince Edward County. So sort of just moving down the waterway and looking to find a home that had the heritage, that had the charm, that had the history, and I really wanted a stone house. So that was kind of the parameters, and working and understanding the demographics of the pull still from Toronto, which I was surprised of the numbers of people still from Toronto, because I was another hour down the 401. but still, because it's so close to the 401 where we're situated, it wasn't that much farther for people from even Oakville to come to this region, which I have been hosting since I've moved there as well. So big draws from Ottawa, still from Kingston, still from other parts of Leeds, Grenville. So it still had that, I call it the onion. It still has those still layers that we're still reaching. So from sort of the combination of all those things, they were all kind of it was a win-win on all those parameters as a business owner, that the particular area of Leeds, Grenville, and specifically being close to Brockville for that tourism, but having that rural village stone feel in Maitland in Augusta really was sort of the winning thing. And of course, I fell in love with the property, so that was sort of the combination.
Who knew that our historic and our stone buildings were such a draw for people, right? Yeah. We got to take advantage of that. Okay, down to the end, Martha and Matthew. Oh, man. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about working with other businesses, working together. So Martha, can you tell us about the importance of working with other food and beverage businesses?
Well, I've had a lot of experience over the last 20 years in the food industry. I would say, first of all, with smaller, more local producers, that it's telling their story and finding out how their product is made and being able to educate our customers on that product. Also, meeting other business owners that are just starting out and if they happen to come to us for advice, being able to see their business grow and flourish. And I'd say a good example of that is Made by Bees from Brockville. An example of a business, a partnership in our business, I would say Matt's a good example. We carry Hall's Apple Orchard at our grocery store. We carry their apples and their ciders. And at Rosie's, we carry their ciders and jellies and apple butter. And we're happy to be able to educate our customer on their products.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of, we'd be up here all day if we were talking about all the connections within the businesses on the stage and also our adventures. We didn't really know that getting into the adventures, how deep the connections between businesses were in the region, and it's been so amazing to see when you go into a foodie shop on our adventure trail, it's like, oh wait, that's us too, we're all in here. So it's just wonderful to see all that working together in the region. Matt, can you speak to how working with other businesses in the industry has helped your business?
I'd go with kind of the same thing that Martha had to say. Like, you never know what connections you're going to make. Because we sell to Kudrinko's, then Rosie Yumski's started taking our product there. We've also worked with a lot of local businesses that we co-pack stuff for now, that we've bought stuff from them, and now they started sourcing materials from us as well. So without those initial connections, we wouldn't have gained the customer.
Yeah, relationships are huge, I think. Okay, Erin, I'm coming back to you. I know that you've made quite a name for yourself in the region for bringing businesses together. You do a lot of great things in Marrickville and beyond. Can you talk about how you collaborate with other local food businesses to create a more compelling culinary tourism experience for visitors?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So my background was working for years in Banff in tourism marketing. And so when we first moved to Marrickville, before I even opened the shop, and I would drive by this iconic red barn right on the banks of the Rideau River, and I said, that's the spot that every girl wants to drink their pumpkin spice latte and go on a hayride and pick a pumpkin for fall. And so I reached out to the stables, that's Heritage Stables, and I said, listen, can I set up and just sell pies here? This backdrop is iconic. And they said yes. And the first year I sold my pies, and I think I sold out in like half an hour. And then the next year I invited 4 small businesses to work with me, and it grew and grew. And so this last Thanksgiving, that was our 6th year of holding Fall for Marrickville, where we see the Saturday of Thanksgiving long weekend, about 7,000 people that come to Marrickville, specifically on this horse farm. And it's grown. Thankfully, Farmer Jake bought the farm next door to it last year. So now we have about 300 acres. We use about 10 of them to park vehicles in. We pay for OPP to help direct traffic. We have 120 small businesses come, and they do a phenomenal business that day. And we see people come from all over that make this an annual event. They book rooms in Marrickville, so we've got heads in beds, the restaurants sell out of food, the gas station runs out of gas. It's an amazing day, and people just hold it in their heart as this cute little event that they can come to Marrickville for. So that's a really great one. And then 2 years ago, I started Marrickville's Picnic Party, which is the May long weekend, every Saturday of the May long weekend. And it started selfishly because we were launching a new kind of caramel, our pretzel caramel. And I thought, how am I going to get people to come out to try this new caramel? I need to package it in something that you wake up in the morning and you tell your husband, hey, we've got to take a drive to Marrickville to go to this little event. So I approached a bunch of the businesses like Mrs. McGarricle's and Violet's Bakery and Yellow Canoe and the Cheese Shop. And I said, can you come up with a little package that people can pre-book to come and get a little picnic box from you. And then they can come to our little event, they can promenade, they dress up, we have trophies and sashes for the best dress contest. And it's really indicative of the brand of Marrickville, which is Victorian and small, handmade, local businesses. So people come in, they're dressed to the nines, they win trophies, and they have their little picnic lunch that they get from all the different businesses. And so we've done that 2 years now, and it's been phenomenal. It's such a great day. As well as I do quite a bit on social media, so I share lots of what's happening and ride my bike around Marrickville and just kind of video it. And some of those videos reach 1 million views on TikTok, and we get people that come, a year later that said, oh, I saw that video, I put it in a list that this is a destination. And they'll drive 6 hours to come to Marrickville to live their little Hallmark postcard moment, to walk around at Christmas in Marrickville or Fall for Marrickville or Marrickville Picnic Party or the Marrickville Makers Market, whatever it is. And I just see it, it's one thing to try and get someone to come just to have my caramel, but that same shopper is also interested in buying Wick Witch handmade candles or going to get Janet's mustard from McGarricle's. So to be able to promote and package it all together is just a no-brainer to really showcase how beautiful the village is. So the last one I just did was on a whim. On a Thursday, I sent a note to a bunch of the shop owners and said, hey, wear black tomorrow and have a broom. I'm going to come around and film you locking your store at 3 o'clock. And I did, and no one knew what was going on, and I just made a quick little video on practical magic, and that video reached 300,000 on TikTok. We saw a ton of business come through our online shop from people near and far, as far away as Florida, that were buying our caramel advent calendars and writing in the comments, we loved the Marrickville Practical Magic video, that was amazing, that was so great. So by showcasing all of the other businesses that are in Marrickville and not just focusing on ourselves inclusively, like being a bigger picture, that really, they always say high tides rise all ships, and we see so many people that come specifically for the caramels and then go and get gelato and picnic at Blockhouse and go get candles and do all sorts of things. So I work with the other businesses all the time because it's such a great partnership.
Yeah, and you're doing amazing, amazing things up there, and I love watching you from afar and close by and eating your caramels.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, I love it. Cynthia, could you talk a little bit about what advice you might give to other food business owners who are looking to tap into culinary tourism?
I think one of the key things is how do you differentiate yourself from the other people in that space? certainly from a regional standpoint, taking that kind of cursory research. For instance, I've said to a few people, I said, we must be the capital of fish and chips here. There's so many fish and chips places. But let's look at, nobody has a smoked meat stand yet, or something that tourists that are craving for something that they also are familiar with, but that they want to be able to experience. Because as the culinary tourism lady had said to me, everyone has to eat 3 times a day. So they want to have that different experience when they come. They want to have some kind of food that they're going to remember. They want to be able to search it out and find you before they actually come, because a lot of people plan their trips before they arrive, especially if they're in culinary, because they want to know what restaurants they're going to go to, and it may not be for reservations, but they certainly have mapped out whether it's like the new trails or whatever it is. They have got their itinerary, and they'll be calling me too, well, where can I go? And so being on as many websites as possible with your business where tourism people are going, whether it's the tourism websites. You also have Feast On, which is a great culinary program. If you purchase, I think it's 25% or more of your goods that you have in your restaurant or in your business that you use, you can be on that specific website. And a lot of people go for the restaurants and the cafes on there, knowing it is a truer farm-to-table experience wherever they're going. And people do want to know where their food comes from now, and especially if they're serious about this industry and that area. So again, but I think the most important thing is to differentiate yourself and be able, like Erin does, be able to be out there on social media and as many places as possible that they can find you before they arrive in this region to spend their money.
Yeah, that's so wonderful, and it really does kind of echo why we're doing those trails, and we're trying those out this year. They've been really successful, and I think that's because people like to plan and see where they're going, and once they're somewhere, once they get into one of our small villages or hamlets, there's more to see and there's more to do, and they're happy to stay. It's just about making them aware and getting their bodies here. Okay, so we're on to our last 2 questions. As we wrap up here, let's start looking to the future. So Martha, I would love to hear what you see in the future for Rosie Yumski's as you continue to lead the way in culinary tourism.
Well, the last couple of years has been a little crazy with the renovation of Rosie's and actually moving it to a new location. I doubled in size this in the last year and a half. So just continuing on expanding of products, finding more local product to carry in the store, my marketing to expand on that. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Amazing. And yeah, your new store is like full to the brim of
It is.
delicious, amazing, wonderful things. So if you haven't been
But there's something else out there I know that can be in my store.
there's always something. Well, maybe we look within Leeds Grenville to see what it is
That's
that
right.
we're missing, right? Yes. All right. Matthew, can you speak from your perspective about the future of halls and maybe some thoughts on culinary tourism in the region, how you see that going?
Yeah, we've changed a lot over the years. We used to predominantly be a wholesale packer, so we had a very, very small on-farm presence, and everyone would buy our apples at the grocery store. We ship them out in trucks. We scaled that back. We still do. Now we do a lot more on-farm stuff. So we have a fine food store, and that's worked very well. We have our bakery. It's coming nicely. We are launching our hard cider. So that is what we're kind of in the process of doing right now. As long as the AGCO is in line, we should be ready to go for next week. So we're in the process of building the tap room and getting all that set up. So that is our next big thing. As far as culinary tourism, with having the alcohol, it opens us up to not just being during the day and weekends with the family, but having things for more adult-oriented later on in the day, which brings us to a whole new market.
Yeah, that's so awesome and so exciting. So that is all my questions for today.